Welcome to Season 2 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs Podcast. I'm Brett. If you're new to the podcast, we are three friends and a producer who like to showcase craft breweries and their beers. Also, we like to end every episode with a short conversation on a variety of different topics. If you're not new to the podcast, well, welcome back. We will keep things similar to Season 1. After all, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Whether you're new or returning, please feel free to listen to all of our Season 1 content. And remember to follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untapped, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also, drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Now, for today's episode. Welcome to Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Brett.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Tyler. Along with us today is producer Randy.
Randy.
So in today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Upper Thames Brewing Company out of Woodstock, Ontario.
Yes, sir, we are. And we're going to be trying two beers. The first is Darkseid, which is an award-winning chocolate stout. And their second is one of their newest releases, the 2021 Harvest Ale, which is a collaboration with the Tavistock Hop Company. And it is a pale ale.
Nice. Yeah, so we're going to be finishing up today's episode. And we're going to be talking about our favorite TV shows.
Upper Thames is located at 225 Bysham Park Drive, Unit 9, in Woodstock, which is just a couple minutes off the 401 and just a little slightly off Dundas Street, or some people may know it as Highway 2. The brewery had their grand opening on August 18th, 2016, and to my surprise, doing a little bit of research, is the only brewery in Oxford County.
Wow.
Yeah, that is interesting. Maybe we need more breweries in Oxford County then.
They must like their Bud Light.
I think they do. So this brewery was founded by 5 different people: Carl Bloomfield, Mo Morris, Josh Bowes, Chad Patton, and Frank Rasso, with 4 of them being native to Woodstock. And now it's just down to Carl, Mo, and Chad who retain ownership. So not sure what happened to Josh or Frank, but just
They
down
ain't
to
there
3.
anymore. That's what happened.
When 6 become 3.
Actually, it was 5.
Yeah, no. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're right. Okay, so I'll move on. Carl is an avid visitor of craft breweries and brew pubs, much like ourselves.
Some would call him a connoisseur.
Yeah, so
probably.
on average about, 75 to 80 a year?
About that?
Okay.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. Now, when he wasn't busy, with his normal everyday job as a firefighter, he brainstormed, with a couple of his friends, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, we got ourselves Upper Thames.
Nice.
The name is being based on the founder's love of the great outdoors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you see that a lot also with like the art that they use. It kind of focuses on the great outdoors as well.
Right. I'm sure we might get talking about that. Maybe if there's
We
some
might, actually.
I think we
canned
will.
stuff. Yeah.
So the brewery itself is a former industrial space that had to go through a little bit of a rezoning process. Tyler, feel free to discuss about what rezoning would have happened there.
Yeah, I went to look up the application. I couldn't find anything. So I don't know what it was zoned as previously, but yeah.
I figured that'd be something you would do. Anyway, the location was chosen for its high ceilings, concrete floor, and potential to expand if they saw fit.
I mean, they might want to see fit because they're the only brewery in Oxford, apparently, right?
It's true.
Right.
I mean,
They've
they
got
did
a-
expand a little bit, but just in a different location. We'll get
Yeah,
to
we'll talk
in a few
about
minutes,
that. They've
but-
got like a monopoly going in Oxford County. So in terms of the actual beer itself, none of the founders are actually the ones who make it. It's made by Nigel Inglis and Drake Merritt. And they wowed the owners with their white stout recipe that they developed at college. It's now known as Dusk Till Dawn.
Have you had that one, Chris?
I have had that one actually.
That one
Did it wow you?
It was very nice. I will say it's interesting because I personally, anyways, don't see a lot of white stout, so
Right.
it's hard to kind of compare it to a lot of other beers, but it was a good beer for sure.
So my first taste of it, I was like, what is this? Right? What is this? And then as I got going down further, I was like, this actually isn't bad. So I had, this was at the Food and Wine Show a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is that? Because I was, kind of new to craft beer.
All
It's
right.
like, this is a white stout. I'm like, this lines up. And so then I had a couple of the cans a couple of days later, or weeks later, and I was like, okay, I actually like this white stout, and I have not met a white stout I like since besides that white stout.
Oh.
You know how it wowed me actually is the fact that it kind of almost played a mind game on me because I'm looking at it and it
Right.
looks like, not a stout, but
Yep.
it smells like a stout and tastes like a stout. And you're like, how did they do this?
Smells like a stout. Tastes like a stout. It's probably a stout.
Right, but it doesn't look like one, so it's
not.
like, oh my God. But
Deceiving.
yeah, it is very good, definitely.
Nice. Yeah, so some of their takeaways that they have is done in 50% cans and 50% bottles. So that's kind of
You don't see that all the time, right? 50-50.
Yeah, and I believe we're having bottles today on the
Both
episode,
bottles,
right?
yes. So their beer is crafted in small batches that is fresh, unfiltered,
We'll keep that in mind, yeah.
and preservative-free using high-quality, locally sourced ingredients from places including the Tavistock Hop Company, which we'll get into that in a bit,
Yeah.
VQH Farms in Eden, Barn Owl Malt in Belleville, and Brewer Supply Group in Guelph.
Nice.
It's nice how they kind of keep it local, right?
Absolutely. You like local.
And then they do have beers in the LCBO, so you don't have to go to the brewery to get their beers. They have some of their core offerings, and they've got quite a few core beers, actually, like 6 or 7, I think. So some of the ones you might be able to find in the LCBO are the Back Paddle Blonde, Dead Reckoning, which is a pale ale, Portage, which is their IPA, Timber Beast, which is a brown ale, Tega Hike, which is a dry hop pale ale, and the Lazy Fox Amber Ale. And I believe you can sometimes get the Dusk Till Dawn in the LCBO. I don't know if
Yes, I think it's their seasonal kind of deal in the LCBO.
Because I have picked it up from the LCBO before.
And also, fun fact, you can find the Portage at the Stratford Country Club because that's what I drank on Friday afternoon during my round of golf. So it's amazing.
There you go. It's again, when we go back to kind of the names of like the inspiration from the outdoors, you see it in all those names of those beers, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we talk about the brewery itself, so it allows up to about 70 people inside, which is fairly decent.
Yeah,
right?
that's good.
Not too bad for, a craft brewery. They also have like this beautiful handcrafted maple bar and a canoe hanging over top. Now, I don't know this from seeing it in person. I know this from seeing it in pictures because I haven't been there.
Can confirm. Been there in person.
I also have not been there. Our producer, Randy, hasn't. We actually sent Randy to pick up the beers for us.
Thanks.
We gave him a job.
We did. Yeah. So thank you, Randy, for that.
Did not pick it up, though, in a 98 Caravan, unfortunately.
It's a damn shame.
Oh, and they also, speaking of Randy, so at the brewery, they have a growler wall, so showing off all their growlers. And our producer, Randy, has his own growler collection with about 60 growlers, maybe a little bit more. So
Randy likes his growlers.
I think seeing that had to, put a special place in his heart.
So speaking of Upper Thames products, they can also be found at, what they upsized to and found a different location, which is the Brickhouse Brewpub. So they actually own a restaurant in Woodstock as well. And they actually have 26 taps there. 13 is usually saved for Upper Thames products and another 13 for guest taps. Yeah.
Promote your own.
For guest taps from different Ontario breweries. So myself and the producer, we were actually there a couple weekends ago, just not with each other.
Oh.
Yes, I know, right?
Did you give side eyes to each other?
Yeah. Yeah, we ran into each other and just said, sup.
We might have to see that in the producer Randy special. Maybe it's about internal conflict.
Also, cheeseburger flatbread, phenomenal. Just saying.
Oh, that does sound good.
That does sound pretty good.
It was good.
Do they have, is it just the 13 guest taps, or do they have bottles or cans to go?
Yeah, they have takeaways too for all Upper Thames products, but not anything from other craft breweries.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know, yeah. So in terms of us indulging in Upper Thames beers, there's 28 listed on Untapped. The highest rated globally with at least 100 ratings is actually our Mocha Latte Porter, which sounds really interesting at a 3.86. Trailbreak at 3.8, which both myself and producer Randy have had. And then the Dry Hop Kettle Sour at 3.76. Some of the beers that we've had, producer Randy's had 12.
Wow.
12 Upper Thames beers. Congrats.
Well, and we were talking about this before, 12 recorded on Untapped.
Yes.
Probably pre-Untapped. I think Randy has had some more as well.
We were talking about that off air, by the way, people, just so you know.
Yeah.
So his highest rated was the Supersonic Purple Tart Ale. And that's right. It is purple.
It is purple.
And it's tart.
It is tart.
And it's ale.
And
Yes.
I've had 2 of their beers. We've already talked about the Dusk Till Dawn, and I've also had the Supersonic Purple Tart Ale. And yes, can confirm it is certainly purple. And I gave both of them a 3.75 actually.
Nice. Yeah, I've had 3 of their beers myself, and then again, Supersonic was my highest at the 4.25.
I come in here at a high rating of 15. I also have 2 5s.
No claps. No claps. Let's just let that settle for a second.
It's late. Don't worry. But anyway, so I've had 2 5s. One of them is a Raspberry Saison.
Hold on, 2 5s. What a shock, right?
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. One is a Raspberry Saison, which I'm not a huge Saison fan, but damn, does that raspberry flavor mix well with the Seizon style, if you will.
Yeah.
And the second one was Cloudy with a Chance of Haze. I had that last year. They had it in a bottle. It was peach mango flavors. The aroma was awesome. Came out of a bottle. Could have been lower rating if it was canned. But my goodness, was it damn tasty. So I hope it makes a comeback. So Upper Thames, if you hear me, make it again.
Yeah.
That is all.
Well, speaking of the raspberry saison, Randy's saying that when he went to pick up the beers, he actually sat around and had a pint, and he had that raspberry saison when
He was scoping
there.
the area.
Yeah, he was
Doing a little research.
Market research.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, we should probably keep this train going along here. So let's talk about some of the deliveries. So it is free across Oxford County. Again, providing for that local with a minimum of 1 case. For Ontario, they do a $15 flat rate, and it's free if you spend over $125. So as we always recommend, get a group of people together and make sure you hit that 125 mark.
Absolutely.
So the brewery hours, and this is not a typo. This is no joke. Monday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So get into your breakfast beers on Monday morning.
Just only open at
Only
9 a.m. on
Mondays.
Mondays.
Only Mondays.
A little Gord Bamford breakfast beer.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, all
And
right.
producer Randy does love his breakfast beer by Gore Branford, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Tuesday to Thursday and Saturday from 11 to 7, and Friday from 11 to 9, Sunday from 11 to 6, and the brew pub, a lot more straighter hours, just 11 to 11, Monday to Saturday, and 11 to 9 on Sunday.
Nice. Well, we're going to link all of their information onto our social media so that you guys can get in touch with them.
And we're going to move on to our first beer that is not for breakfast. Thank you to Carl and Drake from Upper Thames for supplying the beers on today's episode.
Yes, thank you guys.
Yes. Thank you,
Thank
Carl and Drake.
Awesome. Thank you. So the first beer is called Darkseid, which is a chocolate stout, and it's an award winner. It won silver in 2018 and bronze in 2019 at the Canadian Brewing Awards in the Sweet Cream Stout category.
Nice.
Sweet cream, stout
Sweet
category.
cream, yes. So the ABV on this is 5%, and the IBUs are unlisted.
Yeah, so this is described as deliciously thick and smoothly roasted stout from the blend of premium roasted malts. This beer is packed with chocolate flavor from the being aged on roasted Ivory Coast cacao nibs, which are sourced from habitual chocolate in Woodstock. Another example of using local ingredients.
Absolutely.
Also, cacao, very fun word to use.
Cacao. Nibs. Followed up by nibs.
Nibs,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
All right. Well, on Untapped, you can follow us at Craft Beer Connoisseurs as always. And the overall rating on Untapped for Darkseid is 3.75 bottle caps out of 5 with a total of 737 check-ins. And we mentioned we're drinking this out of the bottle. The bottle has a rating of 378 as a serving style with 177 check-ins. And interesting to note, draft is at 376 with 3.76 with 132 check-ins.
Yeah. All right. So this is funny because we described what we're doing first and what we're doing second here. Now, normally speaking, we would have the stout second.
Right.
However, sticking to just true craft beer connoisseurs, I guess tradition is we usually do the core beer first and then we do the seasonal. So
Yeah.
in this case, I don't think it really plays into our favor too much. I know producer Randy, not a huge stout guy, so we'll see how this kind of goes. But
He's going to enjoy it.
he's gonna.
He'll love it.
All right. You know what to do now, guys. Everybody, we got bottles in hands,
Sounds like a bottle.
glass in the other hand, and let's open her up. Boom.
All
There it
right.
is, boys. There it is.
Well, we are drinking the stout out of a nonic pint, so make sure to use your proper glassware.
Oh, that's a nice pour. Oh, yeah. Randy's just so on top of us, just making these sound bites of bottle caps dropping. Loves it.
Some would say that Randy is a manager. Likes to manage us around.
Big manager guy.
Yes.
All right. This poured nicely. Very smooth in the pour.
So funny, we'll go back to the Dust to Dawn when we said smells like a stout, tastes like a stout, doesn't look like a stout.
Right.
This smells like a stout. I'm going to assume it's going to taste like a stout.
Probably.
This does look like a stout.
Totally looks like a stout.
How'd your pours go, guys?
Mine went great.
I have very minimal head retention.
Yeah, I went with a nice little kind of creamier head on my pour.
Mine started out bigger, and now it's kind of dissipated pretty quickly.
Right.
That'll happen to you. That'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we've done this before with our stouts, right? Like we take a look at them, we say, "Oh, it's just a stout. Everything's a stout. It's a stout. It's a stout, right? Just the way it looks." But you do get some of this chocolatey kind of nose profile, right?
Absolutely. Definitely or smells like chocolate. Haven't tasted it yet.
Hey, don't do that to us.
Smells like chocolate, and then you get, the typical kind of roasted coffee smell that you would get usually from a stout.
All right.
Okay.
Do you want to start drinking it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to drink this
All
one.
right.
How
Let's
excited?
go.
Very excited.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10. Actually, no. On a scale of 5 bottle caps. How excited are you?
I'll tell you later.
All right. Sounds good.
So this is a good temperature for a stout.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of get all that flavor profile, and I find myself, not to be punny, but kind of warming up to this a little bit, right? Like to stouts in general.
Yeah.
Yes, I will agree with you. Like, I'm definitely warming up to stouts more as I get more into the craft beer scene versus, when we first started, we were like, stouts? No thanks.
Right. And I mean, traditionally, a lot of stouts are very much just coffee based.
Yep.
But we have now seen with development in several different breweries with their kind of like, okay, I'm going to make it a pastry stout. I'm going to throw in chocolate. I'm going to throw in a different fruit, right?
Lactose.
So it certainly does help out. Yeah, get a really creamy, right? So
Yeah, stouts. So first of all, Randy has a good point here. Like, we're getting into that time of year, fall, winter time, where the weather's getting cooler, where stouts are really, I guess, more popular, if you will.
Some would call it stout season.
Stout season. There you go.
before we continue, I just want to make a note. I feel like we missed the sour summers. We didn't really get as many as we needed or wanted.
You're right.
You know what? 2022 for the craft beer connoisseurs will be the summer of sours.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go.
But to your point earlier, Tyler, I feel like stouts were kind of always similar to lagers in the sense that, like, they just really used the 4 main ingredients.
Right.
But now breweries are getting more creative, and they're adding a whole bunch of stuff in there, making those pastry stouts and really kind of exploring what a stout can be. And I think that's getting more people interested in them.
Yeah, for sure.
For this one, personally, I think it's more of that traditional stout. A little bit of roast, a little bit of chocolate involved with it. Nothing, too much out there.
Yeah,
but still,
that's fair.
A stout at its core, if you will.
So then, Brett, why don't you just hit us with the top 5 flavor profiles, and we can kind of see how that falls in line with more like the traditional stouts.
I can do that. So
Nice.
number 1, chocolate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'm,
I know where you're
yeah.
going with this.
Yeah, like I'm definitely getting it, but probably not the first
Right.
thing. Yeah.
I think Randy, Chris, and myself, Brett, you're probably the same.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, chocolate maybe more.
It's in the
like a-
top 5 for sure.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
maybe like a 4. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
number 2, dark.
It does taste dark.
Looks dark.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
is.
we can't argue with that.
It
I
is.
mean, it's dark. Again, kind of a strange thing for a flavor profile,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Okay, 3, coffee.
Yes.
This kind of, makes sense.
Yeah, I get coffee.
You know what? This is kind of scaring me a little bit because I never drank coffee before. And
Same,
I
actually.
would never jump on like the coffee kind of bandwagon now. I think it's just one of those like frivolous things I'd spend money on, and I don't need to.
You're not
but-
going to go spend $5
Not
for
like
a
beer.
coffee at
Yeah,
Starbucks?
not like beer at all. But that's the thing is like I'm actually afraid that I would enjoy coffee because I'm starting to enjoy
you
this
would
more and
like
more.
coffee.
You know what I mean?
Coffee's delicious.
I just don't think I need the caffeine.
It's not about that.
It's
It
called
just tastes so
decaf.
good.
No. All right, that's fair. That's fair.
You could try that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe get into some teas. I don't know. 4, roasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to be probably my number 1. Producer Randy's in agreement with me there. Would you all agree with
Yeah,
that?
no,
Yeah,
I think
I
it is
think it's
roasty.
roasty, yeah.
I think when you get coffee and you get roasty, I think those go hand in hand.
Number 5, smooth. So do we think this beer goes down smooth?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's smooth. But here's my kind of takeaway on this one. I don't know how to say this. Like, it's not like a creamy stout. Obviously, it's a clean kind of. I don't know, easy drinking stout, right? Like,
Yes.
I don't want to say it's watery, but it's not on that like overly chocolate,
It's
overly
not like
creamy, right?
syrupy like you might get in
yes,
some of the
exactly. That's a
pastry
good one.
stouts.
It's also
Yeah.
kind of funny that it was entered in the like sweet, creamy stout category
Right,
of the Canadian
right.
Brewing World.
That's a good point.
Now, obviously, I mean, they're kind of placed there, but
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. So I would say maybe like I was checking out the bottle again to remind myself it's a 5%. it feels like it drinks a little bit more than a 5%. Like I almost get like a little bit of a kind of boozy hit at the end.
Interesting. I don't get that
Yeah,
at
I'd be
all.
almost
No?
put boozy,
No.
even for like it's 5%, but it drinks heavier than that.
Yeah.
Still goes down smooth. Don't get me wrong. Before we get to other people's thoughts on this beer, I just want to touch about the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, bottle's a little bit bigger, 500 milliliters. Less labeling, though, involved in the bottle. Doesn't take up the whole thing.
No.
But this one is, I would see, is it like
I would love to see that though, a full labeled bottle. Just saying.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Actually, there's one. I'll point that out later.
Is it a craft brew?
Yeah.
Okay.
Off air.
I thought you were talking about Bud Lights.
No. So the label on this one, obviously, that kind of like dark lettering, like white lettering. But I believe would somebody say that's like a vulture?
I was going to say crow.
Probably a crow.
Crow, yeah.
Like when you get a flock of those, you get a murder.
Gotcha.
Murder
I'm a
crows, yeah.
farmer, not a, what is a bird enthusiast called?
Like a bird watcher.
Yeah. Works for me. Speaking of watching and
maybe?
birds,
I don't know. Yeah.
great segue. We have some user thoughts from Untapped on this, and Chris, you have the first one.
Yeah, so the first one comes from Scott H. SR Hillier is his username, and on September 7th stated, definitely roasty and chocolate flavor comes through pretty thick. Bit of a boozy, dry finish, though, for a 5% stout. Kind of what we were saying. Chilly enough night to enjoy it outside. And so Scott actually tagged his location as the Brickhouse Brewpub. And Scott gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
I do feel like this is a beer that I would probably have on like a 14, 15 degree night. You got your little lamp outside on the back deck, kind of just maybe cozy up or cozy up by a fire in late October.
Yep.
Yeah.
I definitely
This would be
see that.
that'll be the weather for it.
Nice. So I've got the second one here. So the second one is Grinning Bee, handle Grinning Bagger, on August 16th. Now this is kind of works out really nicely here, and I don't know if this was done intentionally or not. The comment is, this was a killer chocolate stout. Now we talk about Darkseid, we talk about a flock of crows being a murder. This
Yeah.
was
Killer.
a killer chocolate stout.
Guy
Which
must be a bird watcher.
comes in thematically, obviously, because it is October, Halloween, so spooky season's upon us. Now, the rest of the comment says, many times they taste too flat. This was chocolate as soon as it hit my nose and did not end there. Taste was an amazing continuation of the smell. One of my favorite chocolate stouts ever. And they gave it a 4 out of 5.
That comment did get me there. Like, this beer does not taste flat.
No,
There's
it doesn't.
definitely, it's well carbonated throughout.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't think
I taste it a little bit
compared to
differently.
other stouts, I think
I
this
taste
is
it a
well
little
more
bit
carbonated.
differently. I think maybe that flatness might be that kind of lack of creaminess too at the same time.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, give me your rating on this one.
All right, I will. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
All right. Well, I'm going to be a little higher than that. Noted, I am someone that likes coffee and probably enjoys stouts a little bit more, but I'm giving it a 4.0.
4.0. So I'm going to be between you and as Tyler, which I am always, 3.75 when we record.
There you go.
God dang it. And then producer Randy is giving it a 3.5. So that math kind of goes, and blah, 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 blah is 3.6875, which I'm going to suggest we round up to a 3.75.
I would definitely agree with that. Well, why don't we move on to our second beer? All right, so the second beer we're having today is the 2021 Harvest Ale, which is a pale ale, and it's a collaboration between the Tavistock Hop Company and Upper Thames. And it comes in at 5.0 ABV with 25 IBUs.
Nice.
Yes, so this is brewed with fresh Chinook hops grown by. Anybody want to take a shot at this?
Tavistock?
Yes,
Hey!
the Tavistock Hop Company. Who knew? So, fragrant bubblegum and melon aromas couple nicely with a juicy honeydew and red licorice flavor.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it is a nice light body, which is combined with a solid haze and a soft, pillowy, smooth finish.
Tyler, please explain more about what a pillowy smooth finish is.
I will when I get to drink it.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
do.
we'll hold you to that. So on Untapped for this one, there are only 19 check-ins with an average of 3.77 bottle caps out of 5. So again, very new release. So very limited check-ins so far. We're getting this pretty early.
Nice.
Pretty fresh, if you will.
Definitely.
So let's grab the bottle. Again, the bottle. And the glass. And let's open her up.
While I'm pouring
Wait.
What?
How to get that bottle cap in there.
Oh, there you go. While we're pouring this, I will say congratulations to the Tavistock Hops men's fast pitch team. They finished second in the Tri-County men's fastball tournament. They beat my team that I was playing in it.
It was your team, eh? Okay.
Yeah, well, I was on the team. It wasn't my team, just me. But you're right.
It's the first time I've ever heard you say that. Chris, what are we drinking out of?
Well, we are drinking this out of a pint glass today, so make sure to use the proper glassware.
Perfect. All right, so we're getting that pour in there. Noticing right off the hop that there is a light pillowy head on it.
Lots of head retention going on here. Someone, I'd say
There
2
is
fingers?
a lot.
Yeah,
About 2 fingers?
yep, something like that.
And it looks nice and hazy.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a nice pale ale.
I have high hopes for this one.
Yeah.
Me too. Smells delicious.
I'm interested to see.
I like bubblegum, so.
I was just going to say, I'm interested to see where that bubblegum kind of comes in on this. So we'll see that. Yeah, very hazy, kind of that light orangish color that you're probably familiar seeing with a pale ale.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really smelling much bubblegum personally, anyways.
I'm getting more of the melon.
Yes,
For
me
sure.
too.
Yeah, I think the melon.
Maybe the honeydew.
A
A little bit.
Yeah. All right, we might as well drink it. I don't think there's much more to say about it.
No.
Drink it, gentlemen. How do you like that one?
That's very smooth.
And the bubblegum up front.
Bubblegum is very upfront, yes.
Are you guys getting that?
Yep.
Yep.
Producer Randy, emphatically with the up down, kind of reminds me of a Brittany from Big Brother. Instead of the left or right head shakes, we got the up down from producer Randy.
Yes, that is true.
Which might come up later on.
Little foreshadowing.
It might actually,
I
yes.
think, yes,
Yeah, I'm getting the bubblegum up front. I can taste that kind of melon. Maybe more of, it's kind of more of a cantaloupe, I guess. Not necessarily like a honeydew. For me, at least. That's what I'm kind of getting off of it.
Yes.
What about the licorice? We're getting that coming through at all.
Thankfully, personally, I'm not. I'm not a licorice fan, so I'm not really getting the licorice.
Is that licorice in general, or is that black or red? Or?
Licorice in general, not
Because
my-
nobody likes
not
black
my thing.
licorice.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say that right now. Nobody likes it.
Yeah.
I don't even know why they make it.
I mean, someone must be buying it and eating it if they're still making it.
I can kind of taste it on the back end, more of that licorice as it just sits.
I'm thinking so too.
Right, so just kind of take a sip and let it sit there. Randy, you got anything you want to say?
Silence. Who would have thought?
Maybe I haven't had, since I don't like licorice,
Yep.
maybe I haven't had it recently enough to really, kind of remember what the flavor is. But I would say, since I don't like licorice, I'm not tasting here because there's nothing in this beer that I don't like.
So, Chris,
Right.
when you go trick-or-treating in a couple weeks, you're probably going
Are
to
you
get some
going trick or
nibs.
treating?
Probably going to get some like little packs of nibs.
Yeah.
Try eating like a small snack pack of nibs and see if you like licorice again.
Well, I don't think that's possible because my wife absolutely loves nibs, so they will be all gone before I can even have a chance.
Fair enough.
Just a fact, Chris was the first one to mention his wife on the episode.
Hey. So producer Randy had the 2019 version of this, gave it a 3.75. So kind of with like the comparing some of the notes as I prompted Randy to say. So bubblegum during the front portion of it, hints of the melon, nice and smooth. Love that pillowy finish, winky face. So that's producer
That's like
Randy.
a good pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loves a pillow finish.
Now, was that, this is a question for producer Randy, and he can go and research his own, untappedness of this. Was the 2019 version kind of along the similar lines of this, or was it a little bit different with the hops and everything like that? Dun,
Well,
dun,
wait.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
It's hard to prompt that, right?
Yeah.
He'll be back after this brief message.
So
he
it-
has no voice, so
Yeah, so it does have that kind of pillowy finish. I can see that. It does go down smooth. For a pale ale, it is enjoyable, and it's nice to pick up on, again, each kind of flavor profile.
yeah. Did we say, I don't know if I can't remember if there were IBUs listed in this one, but
I believe it was 25.
because I'm
think
picking
you're
up
right,
I'm picking up almost no bitterness on this beer.
Yeah,
I think because
that's fair
it's the
to say.
flavors dominating versus the, like, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of that bubble gum, you are getting, it's the hops in there, but you're also not getting the bitterness from those, right? I think it's just hopped very, very well.
Well, to answer your question, Brett, Randy did some research. So the 2019 version was peach and apricot flavored, where this is that melon.
What was his rating on that one?
I think 3.75.
Oh, interesting to see how this is going to go in terms of Randy.
Now, this does kind of have, like, as I say, that smoothness throughout, right?
Yes.
Like, it's got a good mouthfeel to it. I have seen Randy shotgun some beers before. And
There is video evidence of that.
I would recommend not shotgunning this.
Well, it's really tough to shotgun out of a bottle.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Just say that right now.
For sure.
You might get cut.
Yeah. Hence why I would not recommend it. Yeah. Thanks, Brett.
5 out of 5 doctors would not recommend.
Thanks for taking me where I was going. Appreciate you. All right. So we've kind of gone through some of that stuff. What do we got for some of the flavor profiles?
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Go
Chris,
ahead.
you had your hand up. You do it.
All right.
Chris wins.
So the first one,
Before we start, I will
Yes.
say this then. We've just lost our segment. Randy, come on.
Oh,
now.
my
gosh.
Somebody must have sent somebody from third home, and Randy's just losing it right now.
Yeah, so there was no flavor profiles listed on this until very recently, right?
right, because I guess
Few
Untapped,
few
unless if there's only a few, then,
So I thought that would be a good thing to note.
Yeah, so number one, again, only 19 reviews, but this is kind of out of left field straight away with number one, is malty. I get no maltiness from this.
And producer Randy's put a comment in here about the 19 people who've rated this beer.
Don't know what they're talking about?
They don't know what they're talking about.
To put it nicely.
Yeah, we're going to put it in the PG version of
There's
that.
an expletive for sure.
Yes. I also agree with that because I don't get any maltiness whatsoever out of this beverage.
Yep.
And I was kind of thrown off when I saw the malty. I was like, ooh, I don't know if
Yes.
it's going to go well.
So we have the ability, because there's the four of us, there's only, the 19 check-ins, right? So maybe not all put that in there, but
We
we
could
do
change
have
this,
we do
yeah.
have a what was that, like close to a 20% kind of voting power on this.
Well, I believe producer Randy will know. He's a math guy.
Yeah. So if we use our persuasion, we can maybe change the algorithm.
We can change that, yeah. So number two is sweet. I do think there is some sweetness, but again, probably not enough to be number two.
I think the sweetness is more so on the back end instead of the front end, personally.
Yeah, and that
It's
might,
there, but
might be
yeah, it wouldn't
coming
number two.
from the licorice flavor,
I
right?
think so, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Fair.
Number three is smooth, which I totally agree
100%.
with. Number four, Melanie.
I would actually. Sorry. I think maybe that smooth should be moved up into the number one.
Oh, totally.
You mean smooth beats out malty? No way. Come on.
Unbelievable.
Let's take note of that, right? So we should maybe revise our list and put smooth at number one there.
Yeah.
And
So
when we go to do it, we remember what we've actually untapped.
we will do that. So yeah, like I said, Melanie, not a person, but
Yeah, nope.
Melon E. So yeah, I definitely get melon. And then the last one is licorice. So like I mentioned, I'm not really getting it, but you guys mentioned you have, so probably appropriate to be number 5.
Yeah, I think so. And producer Randy's coming in here singing like creamy, a lot of mouthfeel in this one. Maybe
Yeah,
even some
mouthfeel would
bubble
be a good one.
gum.
Good one, yeah.
Even a small amount of hoppiness, pretty much anything but malty.
Yeah.
It's pretty much
Yeah,
what he's going.
exactly.
So we'll revise our list and we'll put that with our Untapped posting of it. And we'll
Absolutely.
make sure that gets in there. So let's switch over to the Untapped user thoughts. Brett, you got the first one.
That I do. So this one is from Cody C. and his tagline. His user tag. is
What's
Carpenter
Cody C's?
1992, and his tagline, which is underneath his profile on Untapped, is "Life is too short to drink cheap beer."
That's very true.
I definitely agree with that. On October 2nd, stated nice and subtle notes, smooth drinker. Don't know if he's talking about himself or the beer, but
Could be both.
Cody's
Could be both.
tagline should be man, a few words.
Very true.
Yeah.
Well, when you have 19 check-ins, sometimes a lot of people don't put the comments in, so you have to, take what you can get.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey,
Slim pickings.
good call. Good call.
He rated it a 4 out of 5, and again, this was at the patio at the Brickhouse Brewpub.
Nice. So the next one comes from Sean B. Bools22. Also on October 2nd, said, so good, nice and juicy, great on a hot day. Gave it a 4 out of 5. October 2nd. I was thinking back. I don't know. Was it hot on October 2nd? Maybe.
Yes,
We'll
actually,
say
that
yes.
was the day that both myself and producer Randy were there.
Oh, there you go.
October 2nd. Did
you
Maybe,
see Sean?
maybe you saw Sean.
Yeah, maybe. We did. I wasn't. I was too busy drinking not cheap beer.
There you
So
go.
there you go.
Perfect. Well, why don't I get us started for the ratings?
Please do.
I wouldn't say pleasantly surprised by this one, but I was really happy with how this beer turned out. I'm going to give it a 4.25.
Yeah, I think it's beneficial that this one is in the bottle versus being canned.
for sure.
Would like to try it off the tap just to see if it's kind of the same. I'm going to give it a 4.25.
All right. So for me, it's going to be a even 4. And coincidentally enough, producer Randy, also an even 4, would agree that, off the tap would probably be a little bit better.
It could be a little higher, yeah.
But for sure.
All right. So, well, from a team perspective, that gives a score of 4.125, which we're going to round up to 4.25.
Dang right we are. So that concludes the review of Upper Thames and the beers that they provided for today's episode.
All right. So coming up next, we're going to be talking about our favorite TV shows.
Well, it's fall.
Yes,
and,
it is.
That time of year where it gets a little colder outside. So we decided to stay inside and watch a little more TV.
What are you talking about? I watch TV all the time.
You mean it's 35 degrees on a hot summer day? You're still inside watching TV?
Oh, yeah.
No way.
Pick a season, and I've got my seat right in front of this projector.
All right. So what are some of our favorite TV shows to watch? And it could be, TV show, maybe something on Netflix or a streaming service, since that's the way the world's going these days.
Like a TV show.
Almost, but like on a streaming service.
Right.
Not on, over-the-top TV.
Or
Do you want us to
start with
us out?
one? Do you want us to do
No,
like
no.
a list,
You
or
know
what
what?
would you want?
Tyler, you go first.
All right. So I'll do maybe 2, and then we'll just kind of go through. Okay, sure. So number 1, The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
It's not bad.
Oh my goodness, it's not bad. It's probably
Chris, you are the leader from this podcast.
I've never watched it in terms of
man.
watched it as it came out, but if there's a rerun on, I might
Yeah.
flick
You realize
it on.
all
but
the seasons are on Netflix, right?
yeah, that takes a lot of time.
Well, I'd make time.
You literally just said I always watch TV.
Well, because I have other stuff to watch.
I just watch TV. I just don't watch The Office.
Yeah, put it on there. Anyways, The Office is great. The memes for it are fantastic. Obviously, it's got its little mini cult following. And just like that, Parks and Recreation, number 2 on there.
I do know a little bit about recreation.
Okay.
But not Parks.
Not Parks, which I think ties in
a little bit,
nicely
but yeah.
to Upper Thames. But Parks and Recreation, in all seriousness, is municipal government.
Yes.
When you look at the Parks and Recreation department of a mid-sized, larger city, they are Parks and Recreation. Parks and Recreation TV show is much like them. Just a bunch of party planners.
Do you have Ron Swanson in your municipal government or no?
There's always a Ron Swanson. There's always a Ron Swanson.
Perfect.
But it ties in nicely because of the municipal government tie. So those are my 2 I'm going to list off right now, and I've got 4 more on tap.
Yes. So myself, I'm a huge Law and Order person. SVU, organized crime. I was actually surprised at how good organized crime has turned out to be. I was kind of like, okay, Stabler's coming back. I don't know. Season 1 was awesome. Season 2's got off to a really, really good start with something completely different. It's not like, your regular SVUs where, it's just a different episode and you can watch a rerun. You actually have to follow along.
So I do want to watch that, and I do have Law and Order on my list as well.
Yeah.
Big Law and
make
Order
sure you
guy.
got that
So
PVR so you got some time.
Yeah, I'm going to set up that for sure. Mm-hmm. Cool.
The other one, 90 Day Fiancé. Mostly because, I watch it with my wife.
Your 90-day fiance?
My wife's going to have some words with you.
She doesn't listen anymore.
Yeah, she doesn't listen.
But I'm going to tell her about it so she does.
Well, that's on you then. Yeah. So what about 90 Day Fiancé? What do you like about it?
Just, in terms of the trials and tribulations that come through. Also, by the way, I don't know if you've paid attention to the news, but there's actually a person who brought, his name was Jeffrey, brought his fiancée over, and now is going to prison for 10 years because he, beat her up. So that is an actual thing.
Okay.
All right.
Apparently he's got some issues. Anyway, Big Brother as well.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, you know what?
Jumping ahead.
Whoa.
Well, I'm speaking for Chris, too, because he likes Big Brother, so there you go.
Well,
I do
it's
like
also
Big
on my
Brother.
list, too. So maybe a good transition.
Wait,
point.
there we go. We just knocked out Big Brother.
There you go.
So I'll go with some shows that I'm currently watching. So this is actually really good timing because Succession is probably my favorite show right now. Season 3 starts on Sunday, so I'm really excited about that. Ozark really good
I
Netflix
didn't
show.
put Ozark on.
Yeah.
Randy and me are saying yes.
Season 4 starts probably sometime in
They
the
canceled
winter.
it. I didn't know that.
No,
I thought they
one-
canceled it.
one more
one more
season.
season.
Oh, one more season. Okay.
And then we have watched The Handmaid's Tale. The last season was absolutely terrible, but the first 3 seasons were pretty decent. So that's what I got going on right now.
Interesting. Also, one other show. I mean, I was touching my beer there as well. The Circle on Netflix, kind of almost like a big social media competition. And then also,
Are you skipping over Randy?
I'm getting to Randy's still doing research.
Randy's got 8 down. We're not getting all of his.
You know what? I will get to his. I'm just saying. Also, I just started thanks to my wife getting a new phone yesterday. Just started watching the morning show on Apple TV because free subscription to Apple TV. Check it out.
I've heard it's very good.
Very good. Randy, his favorite show is Ranch. He also likes 24, Narcos.
Whoa. Jeez.
Hey, you know what?
Ranch is a good show.
I was just saying, you had 8. I was trying to get through them all.
Yeah.
I was just trying to go speed.
Okay.
Speed round. But yeah, the Ranch is a very good show.
Nice.
24. I mean, Kiefer Sutherland. It was pretty good. Narcos. Randy does talk a lot about, Narcos and Colombia and Mexico a lot. I don't know. He's got a thing for it. Designated Survivor. Is that also Kiefer Sutherland?
I believe it is.
It is.
Yeah.
So pretty
Big
much
Kiefer guy.
anything
He likes Kiefer Sutherland, yeah.
is pretty much what he likes.
the Canadian connection. All right.
I like it. Sons of Anarchy, Friday Night Lights, SWAT probably also has Kiefer Sutherland in it.
I don't
New
believe
Girl
it does.
probably does not. Also CSI, that just came back. CSI Las Vegas.
Yeah, I want to get into that. That might be Law and Order Organized Crime, and CSI might be the next thing I dabble into.
And Chernobyl, which I've actually never heard of.
You've never heard of Chernobyl?
No, I have not.
Chernobyl,
All right,
I wanted to watch it, and my wife wanted to watch it, and then she watched it without me, so I've yet to
Don't
watch
you
it.
hate when that happens? God dang it. There's been so many shows that's happened.
Yeah. All right, so a couple more of mine. Seinfeld,
Yes.
now recently on Netflix.
I am probably in the minority of this, but I do not like Seinfeld.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me.
Comedians in a coffee getting car? Not bad.
There you go. And then any kind of judge show. So this kind of is a flashback a lot. I spent majority of my university time just watching like Judge Joe Brown, Judge Mathis, Judge Judy.
Judge Judy makes like $200 million off syndication. It's
and she's like
ridiculous.
3.7 feet. Like it's just
she's on basically every channel for like 3 hours every day.
And she's like the executive producer of like all the other ones as well.
Yeah. But I literally spent most of my days just watching judge shows while Chris was in class, just waiting for him to leave class so I could come hang out with him.
So you guys could drink all your Bud Lights.
Nah.
Heineken.
Coolers, all your coolers.
The Heineken mini keg.
Yeah.
Different story,
that was
different
a
time.
good
Try to do a keg stand off that. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so I've got a whole bunch, so maybe I'll just run them off. In terms of comedies, Simpsons, South Park.
Yeah.
I love South Park. Entourage was an amazing show. Some mini-series that I've watched. Big Little Lies was really good.
Yep.
I actually read the book. Not a big reader, but I did read the book too. American Crime Story. There's an OJ season and a Gianni Versace season. They were really good.
Yeah, the OJ one was really good.
Yeah, Mayor of Easttown, which was on in February or something like that. It was really good. Obviously, these are all really good. I like them.
Went through Netflix.
There's a
got
for all
15
that,
shows.
right?
I like them all.
Yeah.
When I was on paternity leave, I actually binged Game of Thrones.
Yes.
No, I did not watch it with my almost 1-year-old daughter at the time. I watched it during naps. Don't worry.
I didn't put Game of Thrones on there as well. I never thought I would enjoy it just because it seems a little bit too far out there for me.
Yeah, me too. I didn't think I would
I never
like
got into it.
but
Loved it. We've
it
sat on
really good.
the porch talking about before, but
yeah.
Good show.
Also like to watch some Food Network shows, like competition shows, like Guys Grocery Games.
Cutthroat Kitchen.
Cutthroat Kitchen.
Oh, I was so mad when they cut that show.
Yeah.
I love that show.
I don't think I've
Watch
watched that
full
one.
episodes on YouTube. It's crazy, right?
One thing I will say, I'd like to watch a lot of sports documentaries. 30 for 30 that ESPN does is awesome. So recently, they just came out with the Once Upon a Time in Queens documentary. It was a 4-part series.
Right.
It was about the 86 Mets. let's talk about Lenny Dykstra. He looks absolutely awful right now.
He looked awful in 93 too. When he's playing for the
He can
Phillies
barely
against the
string a
Jays.
sentence together. It's sad.
Yes.
It is sad.
Anyway, and just speaking of sports documentaries before we wrap it up, Untold on Netflix. There's 5 parts to it. Watch the one on crime and hockey. It's about the Danbury Thrashers. Watch that one. Also, the one about Marty Fish and then the Malice in the Palace as well.
Yeah, the Malice in the Palace
Right.
one's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
All right.
Anything else?
Friends, How I Met Your Mother.
Wow. Okay.
That's it. And producer Randy likes Stranger Things.
All right. We'll be right back as we give you our farewell. All right, and that's all for today's episode.
Thank you again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as Craft Beer Connoisseurs releases a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for a producer special.
So make sure to tell your friends, family, and your favorite Tavistock hop.
So from all of us and producer Randy, I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Chris, and together we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.